Assalamu alaikum, this is Maria Yasin. Today I am back with the new topic of chapter number 1 Cell Structure and Organization. And today my topic is 1.2 Specialized Cells, Tissues and Organs. So, specialized cells, tissues, and organs. First, in the unicellular organisms, one cell must be able to carry out all the functions of a living organism. As we have discussed in the previous video, that the unicellular organisms are the organisms which are having a single cell. Their body is composed of only single cell, and this single cell must have to carry all the functions of the living organisms, like they have to reproduce, and they have to do the respiration, excretion. So all of these processes are carried out by a single cell. But in multicellular organisms, cells are really modified. Basically, many of the cells combine to form a tissue, and these tissues combine to form an organ, and this organ is used for a specific function. So many cells, these cells are modified to carry out one main function. So cells combine to form a tissue, and tissue to organ, so this organ will carry out a single function. Like this, many organs combine to carry out the whole processes of the living organism. Now, how cells are called specialized? Basically, most cells, when they have finished dividing and growing, become specialized. Means when they have finished their dividing, and when they are now mature cells, or when they stopped growing, now at that stage when they stopped growing and when they are matured, now they are called as the specialized cells. And when these are specialized, they have some of the characteristics. And what are these? Basically, they do one particular job or a specific job. For suppose, if we are talking about some cells which combine together to form a tissue, and then organ which is lungs. So lungs, which is present in a human body, they are associated with the function of respiration. So their particular job is to do respiration. So all the cells in the lungs are doing one particular job. Now the next thing is that they developed a distinct shape. For suppose we have two types of cells I am going to draw here. The one is the red blood cells, which does not have nucleus in it. So this is a red blood cell, and the other one is a root hair cell. Okay, so this is a root hair cell. It has a cell vacuole in it and a nucleus here, and after cell wall it also has a cell membrane like this. Okay, so both of these cells are having a different shape. So if we have, this is a plant cell, this is an animal cell, and if I am going to draw any of the other animal cell, like a skeletal muscle cell. So this is a one skeletal muscle cells. It has nucleus. So this one is also an animal cell, and this one is also an animal cell. But one has nucleus and the other one doesn't have the nucleus. So like this, the specialized cells develop a distinct shape. Now, some special kinds of chemical changes takes place in their cytoplasm. Along with their distinct shape, each and every different type of specialized cell having their own type of chemical reactions taking place in their cytoplasm. Now they do division of labor. Division of labor means that many cells combine to carry out a particular function or a specific function within an organism. This is called division of labor. Okay, now the relation between the structure and the particular function of a cell. Okay, now the appearance of a cell will vary depending on the main function of the cell. As I have told you before, that the appearance or the structure of the cell vary depending on the main function of the cell. Like the red blood cell are lacking nucleus because they have to carry more oxygen, they have to absorb more oxygen. The examples of some cells which are modified according to their specific function are root hair cells, xylem vessels, and red blood cells. These three types of cells are included in your syllabus of O level biology 5090. So I am just including these three structures here. The first one is root hair cell. Now its function is to absorb water and mineral ions, which are salts, from the soil. Mineral ions they have calcium salt and they have nitrate ions. So nitrate salts are also present here. So root hair cell function is to absorb water and mineral ions from the soil. So how it is adapted to its function, that the outer part of its cell wall is in the form of long tubular extension, and it is in direct contact with the soil particle. As you can see that this portion is the long tubular structure. So the cell wall is extended in a long tubular structure, so it will make more contact with the soil particles like this. As you can see in this area, more contact with the soil particles and the water which is present in the soil. So more and more water can be absorbed by this root hair cell. So the root hair cell is able to carry is able to form a very close contact with the water film surrounding many soil particles. As you can see that in this picture, that this structure, long tubular structure, is able to make a very close contact with the soil particles and the water film. Water film is a layer of water which is surrounding the root hair. Okay, so it makes a close contact, and then it is also providing a large surface area to the cells for the absorption of the water and ions from the soil, that it can absorb more water and more ions from the soil, and also for the uptake of oxygen, and important for the respiration of all cells in the root. So the next one is the xylem vessel cell. So this is one xylem vessel cell. As you can see here, it doesn't have nucleus, and it doesn't have the cytoplasm. It is a hollow structure. This inside is a hollow. The xylem vessels have a hollow, means the empty inside. So it has a cell wall at both sides of the cell. So its function is to conduct water and ions from roots to stem, leaves, flowers, and fruits. Along with that, it provides support for the aerial parts of the plant. Aerial parts are the branches and the leaves of the plant. So these are the aerial parts. It provides support, plus it is involved in the conduction of water and ions. So it is its function. Now how it is adopted, it is that how it is adopted to its function, that how it is adopted to the conduction. Basically, the xylem vessel is a long narrow tubes stretching from the root via the stem to the leaves and to the fruits and to the flowers. So they are stacked end to end like a drain pipes. Okay, this is, for suppose this is one xylem vessel, another xylem vessel will attach to it over here, and like this many xylem vessel cells attach to one another, and they will form a long narrow tube. And one more thing, that it is hollow. It is hollow in the middle, plus it lacks cytoplasm and the other organelles, so they are lacking each and everything, and so it is important for its conduction, that it is hollow from the middle, so it will conduct water and mineral ions. The next thing is sport. The next function is its sport. So how it is adopted to the sport, basically a substance called lignin is impregnates and thickens the cell wall, making the cell very strong and impermeable. Impermeable means it doesn't allow the movement of water inside and outside the cell. So Basically, this is the spiral lignin which is present in the cell wall. It is present in the cell wall uh, of the xylem vessel, and it gives its strength, plus it is impermeable. So it means that when the water and ions are moving in an upward direction, these water and ions are not allowed to leave the stem of the plant. Okay, so this is why that it is very important. Now the xylem vessels are the part of the vascular bundles. Vascular bundles mean that the xylem and phloem are the vascular bundle of any plant. Xylem is important for the conduction of water, and the phloem is important for the movement of nutrients in plants. So this is a part of the vascular bundle which runs through the stem of the plant, and it resists bending strains during wind. During windy conditions, when air current is very strong, so it resists bending strains. So that's how it is very important, and it is providing support. It is adopted for the sport. Then the red blood cells. So these cells are distinctive or different because they have no nucleus when matured. Tiny disc-like cells having pigments called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin, which has the ability to bind oxygen. Hemoglobin uh, has iron in it. Iron 2 positive. So this iron is present in hemoglobin, or it is a part or a component of hemoglobin pigment, and it has, because of this iron, it has the ability to bind oxygen. Now, how it is adapted to its function? They are distinct because they lack nucleus when matured, and they contains hemoglobin, which readily combines with oxygen and become oxyhemoglobin. Hemoglobin, when combines with oxygen, so hemoglobin plus oxygen, it will make oxyhemoglobin. They are small disc shaped, means 7 micrometer to 2 micrometer length multiplied by width, but large in number. Okay, first they are small but they are large in number, thus providing or giving the large surface area for the oxygen absorption. For suppose that they are small but they are large in number, there are a lot of red blood cells are present in our body, so it provides a large surface area for the oxygen absorption. Now they have biconcave shape. Along with that, they have biconcave shape, increasing their surface area for the absorption still further. First thing, that they are small but large in number, and the second thing, that they have a biconcave shape. The third thing is that because they are lacking nucleus, so what advantage they are having? Because they are flexible and allowing them to be pushed more easily through the capillaries. Capillaries are the structures which have a very minute or the small diameter. Okay, so through the capillaries only one red blood cell can pass easily, so one or two. So it is where capillaries are have a very small diameter, so because of this the red blood cells are lacking the nucleus, which makes them flexible, so they will be easily pushed through the capillaries. Okay, now the next things, that the cells combine to improve their efficiency. So why the cells are combining in multicellular organisms to improve their efficiency? So if there is only one cell working on its own, will achieve a very little in a large plant or an animal. So it is usual to see many similar cells are working together to perform a particular function. Like tissues. Okay, tissue is a group of cells with similar structures working together to perform the shared function, or we can say that many cells combine to form many similar cells of similar structures combine to form a tissue. Okay, so the example of tissues are the cells forming the epithelium. So here you can see that this is the one epithelial cell. So many of the epithelial cells combine to form epithelium lining of our gut wall, windpipe, which is our trachea, and the mouth cavity. Then many of the xylem vessel, this is a xylem vessel, it's a cell wall. So this is water conducting in this direction. So many of the xylem vessels combine to form a xylem tissue. Okay, like this muscular tissue. So this is the structure of one muscular or the skeletal cells. So this skeletal, many of these skeletal cells combine to form a skeletal tissue, which make a bicep muscle or tricep muscle or the intestinal wall of the animal. Okay, so now then many of the tissues or a group of tissues, when combined together to perform a specific function, they will form an organ. Okay, the examples of the organs are the leaf of a plant is an organ which is responsible for the photosynthesis. Like that, the eye of an animal is an organ which is responsible for sight. The nose of an animal is an organ which is responsible for inhaling. And stomach is an organ. So intestine is an organ. So like this, there are a lot of examples. Now, what is organ system? Now, the organ system, when many of the group of organs are with related functions working together to perform in a body, perform a simple body function or a body function, complete body function, they will be called as organ system. So organ system is a group of organs with related functions working together to perform a body function. So this is known as organ system. So examples like a reproductive system in plants like sepals, petals, stamens and carpels of a plant will make a reproductive system in plants. Like that, heart, arteries, veins, capillaries of an animal form a circulatory system in an organism, in an animal or in a human being. Like that, our stomach, esophagus, mouth and our intestine, they will form our digestive system. Okay, like that, our brain, our spinal cord, the neurons, the cells which are present in our brain and spinal cord, they will form our brain system. Okay, nervous system. So, okay, now what is organism? When organism is formed by organs and systems that work together to produce an independent plant or animal. Okay, when many organs and systems are working together to produce an independent plant and animal, then it is known as an organism. Example is human body, a plant, a complete plant which have leaves, stems, fruits, flowers, roots. So plant is an organism. Like that, human body is also an organism. As you can see in this picture, first there is a cell, many cells combine to form a tissue, these many tissues combine to form an organ, these many of the organs which have related functions, they will combine to form an organ system, and the complete organ and systems, basically the organ system, combine to form an organism. Okay, so this is how the organism is formed. So thank you for watching my video. Hope you liked it and understood the concept. Keep watching and thank you.